After hearing those three stories, I think you can see why the Life Foundation is so committed to finding and publicizing a new set of stories each year. There's a lot to be learned by sharing stories about how insurance made a difference for individuals and families at their moment of greatest need. But the unfortunate reality is, for every person who dies and has adequate life insurance protection, there are probably several others who died with little or no coverage. Well, a few years ago, Life decided that these stories needed to be told too. To find these types of stories, we came up with the idea of creating a college scholarship program. It's called the Life Lessons Scholarship Program, and here's how it works. Each year, students are asked to describe the impact of losing their mom or dad at a young age. Specifically, we want to know how it impacted their college plans, what they're doing to provide for themselves, and how things might have turned out differently if their mom or dad had only purchased adequate life insurance coverage. Applications can be submitted in the form of a 500-word essay or a 3-minute self-produced video. This year, Life awarded 59 scholarships totaling $105,000. That's an all-time high for us, and thanks in part to generous contributions from the NAILBA Foundation and the MDRT Foundation. Today, we'd like to share the story of a young woman who received one of those top video scholarships. Let's take a look.
Hi, my name is Giavanna Ficarra, and this is my story. Dad was a land developer in Northern California, where I'm from, and he had an ongoing problem with the neighbor that lived on the property as well. And he didn't agree with a lot of my father's developmental plans. One day, the neighbor went crazy and shot my dad 11 times while he was still in his car. Ambulance got there, he was still breathing, but they couldn't save him. That day, I didn't just lose my father, I lost my best friend. My dad was everything to me, really everything. He was my whole world. And the last time I saw him was at his open casket, and I cannot get his image out of my head at how he looked. I mean, he was just like laying there, and I felt his hands. They were really stiff, and he was really cold. And I just remember wanting to lay with him the whole time, and I just didn't want to leave. It's hard sometimes, to always stay positive, and because I miss him every day. Every time I wake up, I think of him. My father did not renew his life insurance the year he died, and he had no will. So everything that he worked hard for ended up going into probate, and the state took everything. And in the end, my sisters and I were left with nothing. If my dad did have life insurance, things would have worked out differently. I wouldn't be stressed all the time about money or constantly worrying about how I'm gonna, support myself or get through school. When my dad passed away, he took with him, stability and security, everything that I relied on a lot of him for. Things that I've done to provide for myself have been working. I always have a job. I started singing in nightclubs and restaurants. Getting a college education is something that I place as a very high importance in my life. And it's one of my main priorities, just to get that college diploma. Both for me and for my father. I knew that going into the whole college application process that, it was going to be expensive and that I wasn't going to have any help financially. But I truly didn't let that get in my way. I recently was accepted into the Berklee College of Music in Boston for singing. I could be here. Could have been there for me when I graduated high school and can be there for me when I graduate college. But I know he's watching over his 3 girls and smiling, knowing that we're pursuing our dreams and we're not letting our fears stop us from achieving our goals.
We get thousands of stories like this each year, and they seem to carry a pretty common theme. Mom or dad loved their children dearly and worked hard to provide them with a good life. In fact, there's almost nothing that these parents wouldn't do for their children, and it shows in the way our applicants describe their relationships with their parents. In most cases, it appears that mom or dad did everything right. with one important exception. They didn't have a plan for how their kids would be provided for if something were to happen to them. In her video, Gigi says that when her dad died, he took with him security and stability. Life insurance isn't a cure-all. It can't bring back a loved one or mend a broken heart, but it can provide a measure of security and stability after a loved one dies. That's the message we're trying to communicate through our life lesson stories. As you saw at the end of her video, Gigi has been accepted to one of the best music programs in the country. Although she hasn't been able to come up with the money and the financial aid to attend Berkeley, she is pursuing her goal of a college education, and she's currently enrolled at Ithaca College in upstate New York. Gigi's going to share a few thoughts with us. Following that, Gigi will sing a song she wrote in memory of her father. Please give a warm welcome to a very special young lady, Giavanna Ficarra.
Owning life insurance requires you to plan ahead. My dad always lived for the moment, and planning ahead was not my dad's strong point. Some of the greatest memories I've had with my dad involve spontaneous decisions, from late-night movies to short trips. Unfortunately, there hasn't been much time for fun since our father died 4 years ago. My sisters and I have had to fend for ourselves, but thankfully we're doing okay. My father always told me to use what I have to my advantage. I don't have a lot, but I try to make the most of what I do have. One thing I'm very grateful for is my singing ability. Most of the jobs I've had over the past years have been in restaurants, busing, drink running, hostessing, and also singing in restaurants and nightclubs. And my dream is to one day make a living as a professional singer. I want to finish up today by singing a song I wrote in memory of my father. After he died, I felt the need to put feelings on paper. I hoped it would give me a chance to grieve, and it has been very helpful. The song I wrote is called One Last Time, and I hope you like it. I remember you. Your smile is not forgettable. Ooh, I will always be your little girl. I know you're watching over me. You made me laugh, now I cry. I didn't get to say goodbye one last time. I need you, even though you're with me. I know you've been set free. Dad, can you still guide me? You left me such a lovely memory. You will always be with me in my dreams. I remember you. Your love was incredible. You made me wanna be a cut above the best. I saw you leave this life you once knew. Your girls can make it through this storm. Won't be like it was before.
I need you, even though you're with me. I know you've been set free. Dad, can you still guide me? You left me such a lovely memory. You will always be with me in my dreams. I saw you leave this life you once knew. Your girls can make it through this storm. Won't be like it was before. One last time.
You did great.